What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of What's on the Desk? This is kind of an impromptu video I'm doing. It's more of an update video, but it's also, you know, kind of a recent video game buys, recent video game finds. I say recent, but it's been like, 4 months now. It's been a while since I've done anything like, what's on the table, and like I said in that final video, there would be some sort of a reiteration of this, one way or another, even if it's just by myself doing it like I am right now. I ended up picking up a few things. I'd like to show them off, but I'd also like to just give a little channel update here, let everybody know who is subscribed to this channel that, yeah, I'm still alive, I'm doing these things, but, slow down a little bit. And the reason for that is, I'm about to be a father for the second time, so we're a little bit busy, with my wife and I with some things, and, life gets in the way. So, video games have been a bit on the back burner, but I've still been playing, and I've actually ramped up my my video output lately. And I know you haven't seen it yet, but I've been recording some stuff, and I don't want to start releasing any of it until it's done, if that makes any sense. I want to make sure that I complete a project before I put something out there, because it's going to be like a multiple part video, well, at least one of them that I'm working on. I have several video ideas that are coming up. One of the things I want to talk about is that my friend Josh came over the other night and we shot an episode of KO played together. It was Dragon Ball Z Super Butoden 2. I just put that video up recently. We definitely had a lot of fun making that video, and we've arranged something where once a week we're going to get together. He's either going to come over here or I'm going to go to his place because we live nearby each other, and we're going to be doing lots of recordings. So if you're not subscribed to Fox Spellcaster, please do that. That way you'll stay up to date. It'll be like a bi-weekly thing, and one video will be on my channel, the next time it'll be on his. So definitely subscribe to Fox Spellcaster. Probably like the 900th time I've told anybody who watches these videos to do that. Another update, I guess, is that you're going to be seeing a lot of what I call KO play videos. It's your standard Let's Plays, more or less. Of course, I put KO in front, just stay with the theme of the channel. That's pretty much my tag with everything. And the reason for that is, well, I got a new system that allows me to record in HD, and I'm pretty late to be on the bandwagon with this, but let's start the new pickups, and that is with the Retron 5. Now, I've heard a lot of bad things about it before I bought it, heard a lot of good things, and I'm impressed. That system has taken everything I've thrown at it so far. Not a single game hasn't worked. As a matter of fact, I was racking through my library of games, and I remember one of them distinctly in my head that I read about was Street Fighter Alpha 2 for the Super Nintendo. There was some reason that the game wouldn't fire up well on the Retron 5. So it was one of the first games I tested when I brought it home, and it played it flawlessly. So there must have been an update. I know I've got a later model here. Another thing too, translation patches. I got an SD card, stick it in the back. Great, just awesome. You can play all these great Japanese games in a translated form, which is awesome. And it records in HD. I know I said that already, but that's like the biggest thing. And the last update is I'm going to be doing a game room tour video pretty soon. I've got a lot of ideas in my head how I'd like to do this, and it's something I've wanted to do for a long time because, for years I've been watching YouTube videos, and I've been watching game room tours, and it's always been some of the coolest stuff on YouTube, in my opinion. I've always really enjoyed watching these things. So, I kind of feel like I want to do one finally. I think I got the room kind of set up the way I want it, and I'd like to just, take you guys, have a look around my working space. So stay tuned for that. Alright, on to the games. It's funny, this is about the amount of games that I would have picked up in a month or so leading up to an episode of What's on the Table. Obviously we cut that show off for a reason. It was diving deep into all of our pockets. We were struggling just to get something, for an episode, but it was also fun. It was a guarantee that we were going to get some new video games, and we always looked forward to doing it. But again, especially around the holidays, we really felt the pinch, and it wasn't an easy thing to do. So, we turned the dial back a little bit, and I just figured I'd make this video by myself, little update. The first game is Phalanx on the Super Nintendo. It's a great game. It's a great shooter game, and it probably has one of the best cover arts of all time. It's the old dude playing the banjo. It's really not conclusive of what goes on in the game at all. But there's a little fighter plane flying in the back there. It's just such a misleading label, but again, the game plays really well. I've seen the footage, and I had to own a copy, so I finally found a cheap one on eBay, and I went ahead and ordered it. The next one, of course, continuing on with my obsession with the Vectrex and, you know, owning complete in-box games, I found a cheap copy of Heads Up Action Soccer. And it's for 1 or 2 players, as the back of the box is telling me. And I've yet to get my hands on a second Vectrex controller. I'd love to try out Starhawk. It's not very good. This is not a very good game at all. Like any other system, it has its duds. It is what it is, you know? It's a Vectrex game, so you love it in that regard. It's fun to play because it's on the Vectrex, so even the worst games on the Vectrex are still like 10 times better than well, I don't know, other games. Like pretty much anything else. Alright, so the next one I picked up, kind of beginning this little kick of Japanese games. I've been picking up some Japanese games recently because of the Retron 5, which is awesome, and I've never had an opportunity to play Famicom games, and one of the games that I always wanted to play, and I know everyone's going to say you should have just downloaded a ROM and, you know, got the translation patch that way, but that's just not how I roll, and anyone who watches the channel knows that, but I picked up the original Famicom Wars. Would love to have gotten this game complete in box, but the thing is, it was like 3 times as much, and this was a US seller. So it's nice to not have the thing take like 7 weeks to get here from Japan, which is ordinarily the case when I order things from Japan. I'm waiting on a couple things right now. But super excited to try this out. I did download the translation patch from romhacking.net, and it works great. Definitely go to romhacking.net for your translation patches. They have like everything. But the cool thing though is, for those who are unfamiliar with this is the first game in the Wars series, Advance Wars as we know it here in the West. So for example, I mean Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising. There were several that came before that, including Famicom Wars. There was Game Boy Wars, Game Boy Wars 2, Game Boy Wars Turbo, and something like that. I think there was even a Game Boy Wars 3, and Super Famicom Wars, which is one of the best versions, but sadly there's not really any physical copies of it, as it was released as a Satellaview game, so it was download only. I think the closest thing you're going to get to a physical release of that is on one of those, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's like SFX or SX or SF memory cards, something like that. It's a Famicom card, Super Famicom cartridge that would allow you to download games onto it, and I'm pretty sure that a couple of them are floating around out there with a ROM of Super Famicom Wars on it, but the amount of money you'd have to, you know, pay to get something like that, and it's still, there's like no label on it, so what's the point? Alright, the next one, carrying on with the Japanese games, of course, and this one's kind of funny to own because I don't have a Famicom disk system, but I really wanted this. I've always wanted this since I was a young kid, and it is the official Super Mario Bros. 2. And this is in amazing shape. It's completely complete. Completely complete. It's got the little plastic shell that houses everything. It's got the manual. Got the plastic case inside that houses the disc. It's wonderful. It's really cool to look at. And even though I can't read the instruction manual, there's a lot of little pictures in there, so it's neat. And you know, I spent a good amount of time recently playing the Lost Levels. It's so much fun playing a game like that because it's what you already know, but incredibly harder. So yeah, kind of a trophy in the game room, definitely something to just stick on the shelf, and someday I'll have a working Famicom disk drive, but in the meantime, it's nice just to have that and look over and see it. So these next two are really cool, and you just heard me talk about Famicom Wars, and some of my favorite games are strategy games, turn-based strategy games, like especially on a grid, like Advance Wars. And it wasn't until after the fact that I got into Fire Emblem. So I ended up playing the Sacred Stones. I really liked that game. Shadow Dragon on the DS. My Fire Emblem experience was really limited, but it adds an element of, you know, getting attached to the characters, to the players, whereas in Advance Wars, you know, your characters, your units were expendable. but not in Fire Emblem. They don't come back, and you want to keep them. So these next two pickups are super cool, and I've got Fire Emblem, Mystery of the Emblem, complete in box. They look like VHS tapes to me, you know, the size and shape of the boxes from Japan. And the next one, Fire Emblem, Genealogy of the Holy War. Now, this is one of the things I was talking about, that project, that update that I'm working on. This one in particular, Mystery of the Emblem, I've been working my ass off to record in it, like a full playthrough. And the game is broken up into 2 books and several chapters a piece. And I'm basically towards the end of the first book. And I'm going to be putting out a playthrough, a Let's Play, a KO play. And it's going to have, you know, every level. And they're super long. So we'll see how that goes. Haven't even tried Genealogy of the Holy War yet. I mean, I turned it on, saw that it worked, so that's good enough for me. But you can't focus on 2 of these games at a time. But super cool to be playing these games that weren't available to us here in the West. And couldn't be any happier with them. And last, but especially not least, a game that I've been on the hunt for a long time. You've heard me say it in the past. You've heard all of us say it on those What's on the Table videos. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. And I waited and waited and waited for an inexpensive option, and it just never came. So I figured if I was gonna spend the money, I'm gonna get the perfect copy. And I did. I got Castlevania Bloodlines on the Sega Genesis. A game that I already owned only in cartridge form, but I really wanted the hard box with the hang tab. And when I say complete, I mean totally complete with, you know, manual. There's a poster in there, a warranty card, the thing you're supposed to mail into Konami. Cartridge looks perfect, says Konami on the inside of the plastic there. This is all legit, this is all real. And I swear, this looks like, I mean, it looks like it was just taken out of the cellophane. There is no scratches on the label. It is beautiful. And this is becoming definitely one of the hardest Castlevania games to find complete in the box. I mean, you can find them, but they're outrageously expensive. I got this on an eBay auction. It was a buy it now or best offer. I threw the guy a best offer, and he took it. So I couldn't be any happier with that. Definitely one of the last real big games that I had to have. So that really about sums it up. Those are the games I've gotten recently. And it's funny, like I said earlier, you know, that's about the amount of games I would have forced myself to buy had I known a What's on the Table videos coming up. It's a lot nicer to do it this way and not have any pressure. You're just kind of picking up games as you want. But I took a look around recently, and I'm like, oh, you know, I've gotten a few things in the last couple months. I'd like to make a video. Haven't done a video like this in a little while. It sounded like it'd be fun. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Stay tuned, KO Retro. Going to be seeing a lot more KO plays. We revitalized that series, you know, to reiterate that. And yeah, we're going to have all sorts of stuff. I'm definitely going to be working on a game room tour. Subscribe, please subscribe. Pay attention to the channel. All the usual gang of idiots are going to be here. You know, adding Josh, of course. Jimmy will be back. Mike will be back. Martin will be back. Brian, I'm sure, as well. So, thanks for joining me on this video of What's on the Desk. And I'll see you guys all next time.